How's it going? Thought I'd do a bit of a front yard update, I suppose. We've had a few things change over the last couple of days, so I thought I'd just bring you along and show you how it's looking. Some of it's not looking that impressive, but the yields have been quite good so far, so I'm pretty happy with that. The big problem we've had over the last week is a bit of a heat wave. We had 40 degrees, which is 104 Fahrenheit, a couple of days ago, followed by a 44 degree, which is 111 Fahrenheit day, and yeah, it pretty much, well, I think could have knocked the plants around a great deal if they were in conventional garden beds. All the beds out here are wicking worm beds, so they've always got a water reservoir in the bottom that's got something in it, so they held up fairly well. The pumpkins, they wilted while the sun was on them, but as soon as the heat came off them, yeah, they pretty much will stand straight back up again. We did have a few other small casualties in the patch. I had a Stars and Moon watermelon out the back that actually cooked on the netting for the back shade house. It was growing up over the top of the shade house, and also one daikon radish and a couple of mustards wilted and pretty much well perished. They were just in the section of the bed that was exposed to the sun all day long, didn't get much shade. So other than that, yeah, the gardens have really held up well. Really impressed with the way these wicking beds handle them. Out front here, well, I've done a few small changes, and I'll bring you along. Just to let you know, the garden isn't looking fantastic and green and lush. We're at the end of a couple of crops like the corn behind me here. The sunflowers are pretty much all over, and the acorn I've had a few issues with, but I'll talk about that when I get there. So anyway, I'll show you what the garden looks like now. So yesterday, this is what it looked like before the big pruning. The asparagus is pretty bushy there, and also the pumpkin was pretty much, well, bouncing back from after the fruit was harvested. The asparagus was using a lot of water, so I figured I pretty much will give it a bit of a trim back. I had a bit of a reed, and I don't think that'll really affect the growth of the plant at all. We're actually still getting some really nice little spears come through here. We could probably harvest them if we wanted to, but yeah, I'm just letting them go till next year. Hopefully we'll get bumper crops next year. Over here, the corn, it went fantastic. I was really impressed with this Aztec corn. I've got a couple of cobs left on there. I'm pretty much all going to use those guys to grow from next year, just letting them mature on the plants itself. In there we still have a little spaghetti squash. I actually think he's ready to harvest. Yeah, he's ready to harvest. I'll just bring him out. There we go, some nice little spaghetti squash. I've just got him in, I'll just show you what he looks like. I've just got him in these bags here to stop the Queensland fruit fly from stinging them. I'll show you some of the others in a minute, and you can see where the fly have actually stung them. They're not the little gnats that people see in their kitchens and around their worm bins. Some places of the world they call them fruit fly, but these guys are a different pest. They actually cause a lot of damage to fruit and veggie crops here in Australia. So anyway, there's a look at one nice looking spaghetti squash. So I actually harvested two others yesterday from that bed over there. So they're inside the house, and this is number 3. So really love this squash. First time growing it last year, and we only got a couple off. This year I think we're going to get at least a dozen or so from the 2 plants we have going. The corn, yes, rather pleased with that. Over here in this bed, this is the one that had the pumpkin in it, and the 2 squash I harvested. The pumpkin's still in here. I haven't cut it out yet. It seriously had gone berserk. It's pushed, the tendrils were growing up over the top of this. It had pushed these yacon down, actually snapped this one here and this one here. It snapped those branches down. A tendril came over and broke them on the edge of the IBC here. I'm not too worried though, because there is life coming through down the bottom here. Little green shoot there coming through, so I'm pretty happy with them. They are going to bounce back. I had a bit of an issue with the leaves cupping on this. There's some hail damage there as well, some cupping issues. I asked the question online, and Melody, I think it was, thank you very much, sent me a link to a site and where it suggests that magnesium could be a bit of a magnesium deficiency could have been the problem. So I came out and I put some dolomite lime on here, as you can see just down in there, some of the remnants, and the plants since then, while they're not 100% again, the leaves are starting to grow back a little bit more like they should. In fact, in one of the plants over here, in this one, you can see that they've actually started, they've bounced back that well, that they've started to throw out the normal leaves again from the cupped ends. So yeah, I'm really impressed with that. I got some Epsom salts. Epsom salts also has magnesium in it, so I'll be coming out and giving them the beds another dose of magnesium via Epsom salts. Apparently it's taken up a little bit better. Over the back there you can see a bit of the pumpkin vine I've missed. I've chopped it off and just left it there. So anyway, this bed, this yacon does not look impressive by any stretch of the imagination. So just the amount of nutrients that this pumpkin would have sucked out of this bed would have been quite astounding. So I'm going to feed this bed up with some worm castings I've got down the back and some other bits and pieces, and hopefully, yeah, this yacon will put on a bit of a second burst. This mini leaf watermelon, it's bounced back. We've had a couple of harvests off it from this bed. I actually found one over in the back corner there growing between the retaining wall and the cage. A little bit misshapen, but you know, it'll still taste alright. It's in the fridge at the moment, chilling down for afternoon tea today. 35 degrees here today, so it's not exactly a cool one here either. Kira's bed. Kira's hiding inside today. But just to give you a look at the sunflowers, someone mentioned on either Facebook or a YouTube post about bending the plants down to stop the parrots from eating them. It appears to have worked for this one. We've got nearly a whole head. They did attack it the first day, but after that they've left it alone. Whereas these other ones, I'm probably going to get a bit of a glare here guys, sorry. But these guys here, yeah, that's about the best one, and that's all we got left, a handful of seeds in there. So the corellas and the cockatoos really did the job on those sunflowers. The beans died off. We found it really hard to get to the beans, so Kira said just let the plants die and we'll collect the beans, and she's got some seeds to sow next year. So she's got some seeds nice and crispy on here actually. I'll tell her to come out and pick them later. The carrots, I actually knocked the carrots around a fair bit. We've harvested probably about half a dozen from here already, but pulling the pumpkin out, I'd actually dislodged a lot of the roots. Shh, don't tell Kira. So they're not looking too happy at the moment, but yeah, the pumpkin just had to go. It was causing a problem everywhere really. Over here to the yacon, this is my yacon bed. Some rather nice spaghetti pumpkin, squash, sorry, down there as well. And this is the bed that actually has the spaghetti squash in it. There's the plant itself, the vine comes out of there. And just to show you what I mean about the fruit fly, this is what they do. They'll blow the fruit while it's really young, but we found last year, even though they strike the fruit, the larvae don't necessarily survive because they're such a hard flesh fruit when they're young. So what I'm counting on is that the flesh there's still going to be some usable flesh in there. I mean, that's a very nice large size squash, nice and fat and long. And we've got two more down here as well, so that's 2, 4, 6, 7 from this one plant, so really happy with that. The ginger bed. The ginger bed has been a real disappointment. Also slightly embarrassing because I posted a clip on how to plant ginger with this bed here. I thought it was maybe some poisoned horse manure. Sometimes what happens is farmers will spray their lucerne or their alfalfa crops or the hay crops with a herbicide, and then that gets passed on to the horse, which eats it, passes through the horse alright, but then poisons your garden when you apply it to your garden. I don't think it's that. I seriously don't. It's like they send up their first leaf, it gets a little bit too large, dies off, and they're just continually sending off smaller ones to the side. That one there looks like it might be a stayer, the same as that one there, but yeah, they're all growing and they're all continually sending up new shoots like over there, but they're just not growing the large leaves. I've got a barrel of ginger out the back and it's doing fine. It's the same lot as this, so yeah, really at a bit of a loss. I mean, the soil's alright, the soil in here is pretty good. It was well fed up. There's worms in here as well. None are going to come and show themselves to me now, but oh, there we go, there's one in there. All these beds have compost worms in here. They feed on all the organic matter. There's mushroom compost in here, there's all sorts of stuff, so, and a weed, just pull that. So yeah, I'll stop rabbiting on about the ginger. Over here, this is the reason why I don't think it is a poison soil, or poison horse manure I should say, because these two beds are made up of the same material, and this one with the turmeric is absolutely booming. As you can see, we have a few ferals or volunteers. We've got a couple of asparagus down in this corner here. They popped up probably from seeds brought in from the other end. I got some sort of cucumber or rock melon going here, and a 28 spot ladybird. These guys here are a bit of a pest. They eat leaves along with their larvae, and yeah, this is pretty much what they do to the leaves. Over the back there I've got a couple of daikon. That daikon radish is looking rather nice. I had a patch go to seed in the backyard and they're just popping up everywhere in the yard now. Another daikon, some tomatoes, a grasshopper. Oh, missed him. Fish are going off on the grasshoppers at the moment. A couple of dills also over the back there, so yeah, this bed's doing really well, and so that's why I pretty much will know there's nothing wrong with the soil. This bed's just flying along. A couple of other spaghetti squash and ladyfinger bananas, and I'll just take you down to the compost heap actually. We used this spot last year, actually we've used it for years, just to throw all the lawn clippings out the front. But what I did this time was I mowed down all the pumpkin vine, the asparagus and a couple of corn stalks that had come off. I mowed them all down and mulched them up and put them underneath here, and as you can see, actually that's really hot. I'm going to go down and grab the thermometer on that. Just come back with a thermometer and a hat because it is getting rather hot. I thought I'd just show you this. That there, it's not going to focus well. See if I can get in close. That there is a black soldier fly. Those are the little guys that lay the black soldier fly larvae, the eggs, that turn into larvae, and they are great composters. They're great because they will eat meat, and the adults have no digestive system. They only have reproductive parts, so they don't spread disease, and there is a chemical associated with them that actually deters other houseflies and blowflies, so they're actually rather handy to have around. But anyway, back here with the thermometer, and that is seriously hot down in there, just to show you. No tricks here guys. We're in 40 degrees. Pop him down there in the center and watch him how he goes. And we're up past 50, and yeah, we're sitting around about 55-ish, I'd say. What's that, about 130, and we're climbing up a little bit further. So the moisture in this this pumpkin actually really does do the job at activating the composting process, I think. Didn't have to hose it, didn't have to do anything with it, just threw it in and away you go. So there we go. What are we there? We're about 132-ish, or about 50, 56, 57 degrees. So that's in less than 24 hours. I finished making this pile around about 4 o'clock yesterday, and it's only just past 1 now. So I just popped the thermometer in another spot there, and it's just gone straight up to 60 degrees. So it's really cooking nice and well down in there already. There's also a stack of red wrigglers in this area as well. I pulled a whole heap out of the compost that came from here last year, so they won't be in the warm area at the moment. Compost worms are smart. They move to the outside or the periphery of the compost pile or heap, and then they move back in once it starts to cool down. So there you go. There's a bit of a look at autumn, hopefully autumn or fall's compost. I don't think it'll take too long to break down at all. So there you go, there's a bit of a look at the front yard and how she's travelling now. Like I said, not exactly, you know, a green lush paradise at the moment, but it is still productive. We got loads of corn, the spaghetti squash are rather impressive, and I think that end turmeric bed's going to start pumping out the produce very soon, even if it's just a couple of daikons and tomatoes here and there. Down the back there I've got a whole heap of melons and cucumbers. I've just seeded out, and they'll go out the front here and patch in a few of the holes. I've got the cream cobra melon, which is a rock melon. I've got mini mouse melons. I've got mini Lee watermelons, another load of them to come through. Some gimpy gold cucumbers and something else. Toadskin or Christmas melon, I got some of them as well. So they'll find, a few of them will find places out the front here, some maybe down the side of the house, and others will go out the back. So yeah, I've got loads to go out, and the backyard's still pumping out the produce, but this front one's just having a bit of a downtime. Yeah, so I suppose that's pretty much all it. One thing I would really like to do is thank all the new subscribers who have jumped on board over the holiday season. I know a lot of people get a lot of downtime, so they get to spend a lot of time on the internet. So thank you very much for jumping on board and subscribing and asking all the questions and leaving the comments. I really do enjoy the comments and the questions. They make me search stuff. If I don't know something, I look it up and I find the answer for it, and then I post back. So I really do appreciate that. I know some of you guys that have subscribed are in it for the aquaponics or maybe the worms, but I do tend to do these garden walk around clips as well. It's a bit of a video vlog or journal or blog for us, so I like to do it. Hope they don't bore you too much. Yeah, so I will pretty much all leave it there and ask you to leave any comments, questions or suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I'm starting to get a little bit roasted under this sun, so I think I might go inside for a bit of a cold one. So take it easy all, and I'll catch you next time.